Nigeria, and thank you for making our time to be here with us. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from the economic capital of Nigeria, Lagos. I am Henry. We kick off today with our newspapers, and right after that will be our main conversation also. For please do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can always find and reach us at EnterpriseTVNews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We're very so honored to have with us right here in our studios Barrister Barrister at Law, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for being here.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right, so let's start today, ladies and gentlemen, with one of the most strangest debate, of course, happening on both sides of the divide, and that is on the allegation by Reno Omokri, former aide to Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who said that that Peter Obi, of course, a former president who is Reno Omokri, has claimed that Peter Obi, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, sent him a resume in 2018 in a bid to become Atiku's Abubakar's running mate ahead of the 2019 general election. Omokri made the claim in a post on X, stating that he was compelled to release the alleged email after a supporter of Obi publicly accused him of lying. Now, I think let's do, of course, the detailing on that particular stuff, and I'd love to read exact the report that's made possible by Reno Omokri. That is the email sent to him, and it said, "My dear brother," that is Peter B, referring to Reno now. I hope you and pray you and your family are keeping well. Thank you for your support and your commitment to building a better Nigeria. I have been directed by our Oga to send my resume to you. Kindly find attached. I tried calling you earlier, but to no avail. I can be reached on the number he stated here. Thanks and God bless you. Best regards, Peter Obi." Barrister, with regards to your area of forte, you understand detailing so very well. And do you think this is true?
Well, it's an allegation that Reno is making. I don't know why it's uncalled for. If at any point in time it is true that Reno had worked in the team that constituted the work that incubated Peter Obi for that election, of course, the flag bearer could have assigned him to receive documents on behalf of anybody.
Definitely.
Yeah, so yeah. I don't see it as something Reno Omokri should be using to blackmail, because this is blackmail now to show off that Peter Obi sent it to him, because he said it as if Peter Obi begged him exactly to get into the race and all that. So it's a direction. I think maybe the committee that worked on that issue may have
directed everyone to send
to him
through him,
and then it's acting as if Peter Obi had to rely on him to be able to get that endorsement. I don't think it's uncalled for. It shows the kind of person Reno Omokri is. He lacks accountability, he lacks integrity, and the way he goes about running his mouth on issues. Just not too long ago, he was condemning Bola Tinubu during the campaign. He even went to the Chicago State University and then obtained documents for which he used against this same Tinubu. Okay, fought against Tinubu. Then he was in cahoot with Obi, praising Obi to the high heavens. That has not seen anybody that have integrity in Nigeria as Peter Obi. Now Peter Obi spent his personal money in doing this, doing that, making sure that people are fine in the country and the rest of that. Then he turned around. All of a sudden, do you know that Reno Omokri led a protest in the UK to send Tinubu away from the UK?
That was when Tinubu went to Chatham House, I'd love to believe.
Yes, he led a protest. Yeah. You understand? Now, this is the same person, because he has been called through the back door and possibly given some money. He turned overnight and started fighting Peter Obi and any other person who's against Tinubu. And now he's praising Tinubu to the high heavens. All he said before about him, all of a sudden, he's saying the opposite about him again. So he does not have integrity. I don't even know why we're discussing Reno Omokri. I don't even know why, because he doesn't watch our time, okay? I mean, to give him such credence to listen to him make mess of himself at every point in time. These are political jobbers, people who take advantage of politicians, okay, to blackmail, to collect money from them, and to do all sorts. And people like Donald Mokri should be arrested. Should be arrested and prosecuted for deceit, dishonesty, criminal conspiracy to misinform the public, okay, false information given all over the place. I think he should be arrested and prosecuted.
But don't you think he is naively shooting himself? Because making this known, it means that the Tinubu-led administration and the team might not even trust him. Because he is making this known to this person. He might turn around to go against the...
They do not trust him. That's why they didn't give him any portfolio. Even though there's a rumor that he has been penned down for ambassadorial position. But the best they can do for him to send him on mission. And that is what intelligent leaders do. When they have a supporter that is porous, they send him on a mission. Maybe send him to be Nigerian High Commission to a place like Cuba.
In Nicaragua.
Yeah, somewhere like that. You cut him off from the radar of political nonsense. All the way he runs his mouth and all that, make mess of himself. The person is defending today, the person is going to fight tomorrow, and turn around to defend the person who is fighting today, tomorrow. So it's not, I don't think it was our time. They're talking about it.
All right, so let's take a look at other matters from the Daily Trust newspaper. We have PDP NEC meeting holds today. NWC members insist no, we have a rider, just one rider to that story. No, it's an expanded caucus session, and that's coming from the Damagung's group. And on the very top strip of the same newspaper, Ganduje's exit, CPC, Bloc, and North Central push for APC chairmanship. How Naira depreciation pushed Nigeria's debt to 149.39 trillion Naira. And also 2027, Sean Sycophants Dangiwa tells Tinubu. Barrister, let's take a look at this matter. How Naira depreciation pushed Nigeria's debt to 149.39 trillion Naira. How bad is this situation?
You know, the more the Naira is devalued, the more it affects our loan. Because what we will have to convert in terms of Naira to dollars to pay.
To pay up, okay.
You're not going to have a huge differentials, and that differentials is not the interest rate too. Is that we have to go and get that money because our Naira has been devalued, not just by our will, but based on the economic integration, because we're not producing, okay? So we're not earning enough profit. And when you're not producing, you're not earning enough forex. What it means is that your currency will be weakened the more, okay? Because you are only spending dollars, you are not earning it. You are not the only place to earn dollars when we sell crude and maybe some of the solid minerals and all that, which is not enough inflow, okay, to take care of existing debt and to pay back interest rates. So it will push it higher. I mean, it will even get worse as long as we are still taking loans. Remember, we are still taking loans. Yes. And we don't have any, we have not prepared any formidable production process that could help to ameliorate the huge differentials we have between the Naira and the dollar, that the Naira is so weakened, and you need so much Naira to contend with small dollars, little dollars. So, and you are indebted. It's a bad situation.
Yes, but what if we see through the eye of the president on the reason why the depreciation was important? According to them and the team, they said that that would attract foreign direct investment more, because when they bring their small dollar and they convert it to Naira, it's big, so they can put in the money into the economy.
Yeah, it will ordinarily should attract foreign direct investment, but there are bigger obstacles that will reduce that money to nothing under our business environment. First is issue of power. Second, issue of insecurity. You understand? Then before you talk about raw materials, you talk about other factors of production like land, labor, capital, entrepreneurs. Those factors of production play a role. When investors want to invest, it is not just based on the instability or the weakness of your currency, because they are looking at it from one side. They are not looking at other variables. There are other economic variables that could have been that could have stand as a huge obstacle. Like I said, the issue of the business environment. So even if they are coming with small amount of dollar, that if they convert it will become big, half of that will be swallowed by electricity, the lack of it. Okay, so you see that, you see the variables. Then the remaining part they will have to use it to contend how they will supply water for themselves, how they will employ, pay staff, produce under very harsh environment, get the things ready. We have bad roads to move goods around. Okay, they have to buy trucks or rent trucks that will break down often, that you need so much diesel to power. So by the time they pass in the cost inflation from production, from the process of production to finish, and the piling running cost on it, before they now look at profit margin for which they will repatriate. And after they get everything, it's still very difficult to repatriate too, because the money you are converting to naira, it's easier for you to convert dollars to naira than to convert naira to dollars and repatriate, because you won't get it to buy. The CBN has to go to the black market. The black market will take it up. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you are still contending with the same problem that they are telling you they have solved. Because your naira is weak, bring in small dollar, you still going to confront the same problem. So the problem is hydra-headed.
Hydra-headed it is, definitely. How we would go about solving this is a very big problem. The aviation minister on national television kept saying that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu converted 600 million of internally generated revenue in Lagos to 55 billion. And why Nigerians should vote for him. And that's actually very funny how that this man has 2 years already going, but they still make referral of how he was able to turn around Lagos.
He didn't turn around Lagos. Those who say turn around Lagos are very ignorant people. There are people who don't actually know Lagos when Tinubu was a governor. You cannot tell me Lagos when he was a governor. I've been in Lagos for 46 years. I've been in Lagos for 44 years or thereabouts. So when he was the governor of Lagos State, he didn't do much. I keep saying this thing. He did a few roads in the island. In the mainland, he dualized the existing roads that was constructed by the military. Okay, that's what he did. It was Fashola who came and did proper structure of the workings of Lagos, then complemented by a former governor Ambode, before we have the current one that's doing nothing. Okay, so this thing about that's how he did. It wasn't too far away that he was governor. It was 1999.
But the aviation minister has asked the people who do not know Lagos before he came into power, that if people who knew Lagos before 1999 compare it to what it was after 1999.
There was no remarkable difference. In fact, Lagos was cleaner under the military than it was under Tinubu. The people who actually knew Lagos before and left before Fashola came are the ones who did not recognize Lagos when they came back. Because Fashola's administration was beyond infrastructural development. Fashola took care of the environment.
Yes.
He took care of the aesthetics.
Green areas.
Yes. He took care of, it was him that created this signage and sample. Before, people placed posters under the bridge everywhere. It was Fashola government that took that out. Yeah. If you want to advertise, you go to the Lagos State Signage Mounting Authority. They will take your brief. Then they will suggest to you the best advert you need, the kind of advert you need, digital, whether it's on terminal bridge, they will take it to the right place, you pay and they give you the service. Before then, we didn't know that from our space in the city, it can generate a lot of money. To the point where they have to create an institution out of it, from just our
signage and all this.
Yes, signage and spaces you have in Lagos. So that's the creativity. Fashola did all that, put all that in place. You know, Ambode came and did a lot. You understand? So this one that they keep saying him, he is the least of the governors we have seen. The only person you can compare Tinubu with, the governor of Lagos, is Sanwo-Olu. This is exactly the way Lagos is dirty and smelly now. That was how it was under Tinubu. Nobody can. I know this story. I was in Lagos there, so I didn't read it anywhere. I was on the street of Lagos when Tinubu was governor. Now that Sanwo-Olu is governor, I'm still on the street of Lagos. So I can tell that Lagos has returned to what it used to be under Tinubu, and that's why people are complaining.
All right, so let's take a look at other matters here. Sadly, we have, of course, Dantata for burial in Saudi Arabia today. Barrister, let's take some minutes to take a look at the life and times of Dantata. One man that has done so much. Even if he had done all of that behind the curtain, there's no denying the fact that he was very instrumental to Dangote that we have today, and so many other people from the northern part of Nigeria. What do you have to say about this?
Yes, he was a business tycoon. I mean, he was among those who, you know, industrialized the north from agro businesses. Okay, from, you know, sugar purchase, distribution, and all that, to stables and all that. So he was the one who groomed Dangote. Okay, Dangote learned business from him and his chain of family businesses that they have. When you go to the north in those days in the 80s, you see Dantata, just like you see Dangote, Dangote,
exactly.
And it's the same pattern Dangote too. You understand? Using the brand name as, using your surname as your brand name, and the name is also the name of a city in the north and all that. And so you just keep on with the name. So he did well. He contributed even in politics. He contributed, he raised people. Okay. He contributed a lot to the Sokoto Caliphate, the Muslim and he groomed a lot of people under him. So many billionaires came under him. Okay, when you go to Kano, you will see very rich people who may not be very popular. Yes. Not everybody wants to be, yes, and they be out there and all that. But when you go to Kano, you will see business dynasties that are linked to him. People he groomed, people who is, and all that. So he's a great Nigerian. And I think he has done well for himself and for his people and for Nigeria at large.
Very, very true. Let's take a look at...
So rest in peace.
Amen. So let's take a look at all the matters here. Nothing much from the Vanguard newspaper. It's still the same old. President Tinubu to commission Jigiri District Access Road today. We've been having this recurrent FCT advertorial on the pages of most of our newspapers, depriving us of interesting stories to talk about. But let's take a look at the little we have here. The PDP crisis, faction hold, the parallel NEC meeting, electricity, no respite for 7 million consumers, despite 1.5 trillion spent on metering. Barrister, electricity yet again.
Yeah, you see, the light went off last night. I don't know whether it's a national grid, but it looked like it's general. Yes, because I've spoken to people from different areas of the country, and there's no light anywhere. Okay, I don't know who have power supplied now, and that is the problem we're talking about. The Buhari's government have, under his government, it is now possible for you to generate power, a state to generate power, and the state can have a right, they have a prerogative to pull out from the national grid, and create something within their own sphere that can supply power to them. The same problem in Delta State, in Kwale, in Dokwa area, where the protest is ongoing and there's fracas there. The same problem across the country. One story for the last 50 years. Nigeria shamefully have not been able to stabilize power, to have stable power supply. So when you're talking about developing Nigeria, and you're mentioning other things, strategy here, strategy there, you cannot develop a country under darkness. Yes. Before God started creation, before he started the main job, he pronounced day and night. And he started as saying that let there be light. You understand? So light is where you start from. By the time you light up the place, you can actually see and know where you should have a road, where you should have a bank, where you should have a hospital, where you should have, but if you don't have light, from darkness you cannot pronounce development. It's not possible. So it's that simple and straightforward. We don't have electricity. It's the reason we don't have the multinationals are living rapidly, and they are living without thinking twice.
Despite our population.
Yeah, despite the population, they are living without thinking, because they can actually hang out in Ghana, okay, produce these things, and then, you know, export it to Nigeria. In which case, we are the one losing out, because first, the labor market is Ghanaians they will employ, so we lost out from there. Now, when they export it into Nigeria, the goods, is the Ghanaian Port Authority, okay, that will be the first to lay hold on the resources before it comes into. We take our excise duties. But you see that the population, Ghanaians, how many are there in population?
About 32 million.
About 32 million.
Yeah.
Yes. So you see, their population is not even up to 1/3 of our population. But because they have power supply and they have regular water supply, businesses are moving in there. And because it's close to the market too. That's the truth. If you have a business in Ghana, it's as good as having it in Nigeria. So if Ghana is close by and there is constant power there, and as a businessman, what am I doing in Nigeria? What am I doing in Nigeria? I will take it to Ghana, where I can easily get the materials, the raw materials, the resources to produce and all that. And perhaps even get a cheaper labor. Okay? So we are in some kind of trouble. And we seem not to care about it, because government does not really care about it. We're in some kind of trouble. Nigerian economy may get to a point where, like it happened sometimes in the 80s, where if you don't grow what you eat, and there's no way you can grow everything you want to eat. Yeah, but in the 80s, there was a point where, 84, thereabout, where people were using sawdust to cook. People had to start farming, garden, you know, so that they can harvest from there to eat. The young people today don't know what Nigeria used to be before. You know, there was a time Nigeria was good. There was a time it was very bad, like this. You understand? The economy tanked. And when the economy tanked, people had to rely on, you know, small-scale farming. Yeah. If you're a civil servant, when you close by, you close by 4, you go to the farm. I remember then when Kaduna, we don't used to farm. It's my dad that used to do experimentation. So, but in 1984, when he closed from work by 2 from Nigerian Air Force, he would take us along. We started farming rice. We were wondering why we were excited. We were excited as children because we didn't know that you grow rice. We thought maybe rice is manufactured. So we saw hand to hand how from the Kaduna Fadama, we started growing rice and other things. Not just us. Officers, senior officers in the Air Force, everyone was a farmer there. And that was how Nigeria was at some point. You know, before it grew, we came back to democracy. Now we're at a point where government can no longer manage the economy. The economy has slipped away from them. That's the formal sector. I mean, the informal sector, they abandoned it a long time ago. The informal sector is steered and managed by artisans. They are the one who determine price, costs, the curve of demand and supply by their own idiosyncrasies. But government will only have a hold on the formal sector. can have a hold on what fuel price will cost, what power supply, electricity will cost, because it's in the formal sector. Yeah. So the government can determine those ones. But once it's off into you are not able to do it. And that is why government cannot really trap the size of our economy. They are not, because each time they say that the Nigerian economy is a $7 billion economy, it's a reflection of the formal sector. The informal sector, they just put a figure there. They cannot trap it. Because each time they say $7 billion economy, when they look at the bank and they look at the inflow into the bank, it's usually higher than what they are calling. You understand what I mean? Okay. And it's not even everyone in the informal sector that banks. Yeah. Some people do other kind of banking. Yeah, definitely. They save in their houses and not. So with that, you cannot. If you don't know the size of your economy, how do you upscale it? How do you manage the variables? So what you see that we put is estimation. Even IMF work with estimates.
On Nigeria?
Yes, it's estimate. You know why it's estimate? Because first, you don't even know how many we are to start with. Our population is also estimated now, right? The last time we counted was
2006.
2006.
Yes.
2069 is how many years? Our population could have quadrupled by now. So first, we don't know the number of people we have. Second, we don't know the size of our economy. Because the woman selling ugu, selling tomatoes, selling all those women, we don't have a tab. We don't have, what do you call it, a data of how many businesses are in our local markets. Even when the local government is supposed to provide that data, they will not do it. The local government that is supposed to provide that data, they will not provide. If they not provide the accurate data, because if we are serious, we can get the local government authorities to do that exercise. You understand? Even if it has to be a 1 month exercise, they should go out there, get all these figures, how much they make. They should do it in such a way that is friendly, so they don't hoard information. So they don't begin to think they want to tax them more. You need to sensitize them first, and come to the market, do 1 or 2 what do you call it, development. Develop the market, tar the market road, put facilities for them. If they don't have umbrella, give them umbrella. The ones that need a fridge, give them fridge. From the federal government, they can do it. From the state government rather, give them facilities. Then let them know what you are trying to do. You want to be able to track the size of the economy. Take down all these things. Look at farmers. How many farmers do you have in a village? Take their data. Okay, give them soft loan to continue farming. Assure them that if they produce, government will buy off everything. So that's the way to go. But if we're not, with this insecurity on ground, you see, that's why I say the economy has not only tanked, it will be very, very difficult to resuscitate it. Yes, because now we're not just dealing with the fact that we want to know the size of the economy, we're dealing with insecurity. So where are we going to start from?
It's actually very lamentable. I do not know which economy in the world does shadow boxing with its economy.
But that's what we are doing. That's what we are doing. The Minister for Finance and what do you call them now? The ones that manage the economy. What they do is they pay some consultants. You understand? These consultants don't go to those places. This consultant will outsource. They listen to some person. They just go, they laze around, and they just come up with data figure. It does not reflect. You can't plan with it. Even the government knows that this thing they brought is false. Because they're going to get kickback from those consultants. And the consultants will just do a work. They'll bring a graph sheet, bring all those. It does not reflect. You can't work with it.
So we're sampling.
We're not getting that because we're working with wrong figures. Like when you are asked, we are asked to they give you the formula. Okay, let's say simultaneous equation, for example, and you are walking through question to answer with the wrong formula. You are not going to get the right answer. Even when you arrive at an answer, it's going to be a wrong answer.
Very true, because often what they do is they just sample about 5 persons and use that to generalize.
Yes, generalize
and say this is what it is. Very so unfortunate though. I wish we had enough time, because we had other issues here. Hurricane Tinubu, APC launches fresh moves to pull 5 governors. Barrister, please, let's do this for maybe the next 60 seconds if you may, or 90 seconds if you may also. It's gradually becoming a one-party state, but let's take ourselves history back. Let's see countries that have allowed this happen. Soviet Union broke away as a result of one-party state, holding on the dissent, forgetting the fact that because opposition do a lot in checkmating the ruling party. In the Soviet Union, there were no opposition, so there was this authoritarianism, and that led to the division of the Soviet Union. The wall of Berlin, the Berlin Wall that came crashing in 1989, was equally as a result of the one-party state. Yes, exactly. Mobutu Sese Seko, the same thing, one-party state that led to the war in the DRC.
Joseph Stalin.
Yes. So why is it that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not see all of these things?
He doesn't see all of these things because his eyes is on 2027, not to whatever we are doing now. See, all he needed to do was to grab power. The moment he gets it, he's focused on 2027. That's what he's doing. So whether Nigeria become a one-party state or not does not bother him. Okay? You saw how he was mocking the coalition.
Yes. That the IDP politicians.
He said they are politically displaced persons. You understand? So he's mocking them because he knows that they are not able to put their house in order. Look at the fresh crisis in PDP now. Should PDP be having crisis at this time of the day if they are ready for the future? They're not ready for the future. Yeah. Okay, people like Atiku have destroyed the party and they want to leave because Atiku destroyed that party when they had already agreed that power should go to the south at the Asaba declaration. He went and, hobnobbed with Ifeanyi Okowa. They took on that elephant project for Atiku to become president. That is what shattered, that is what produced the beast in Wike. That was from the day the beast in Wike was given birth to. He now vowed to make sure the party is destroyed while he's in there. So you see now that ever since then, when you all Rotimi Akeredolu, late Rotimi Akeredolu was the PDP Governors Forum chairman. They chose Asaba, Delta State. They all converge. So all of them had this. The PDP governors. Yes, they all agreed on what they want to do. Okay. The host governor, of that plaque is the one who turned everything around against everybody. So you see that now PDP, as we speak, they're having problems every day. That's why he's laughing at them.
And he has defected. Okowa. He has defected the party.
He has defected with the current and the deputy and all that. He has defected. Now, what is left of the PDP is the left crisis there. Wike has not defected, but it's not better than those who have defected. Okay, so where will the PDP start from? That one is knocked out. Look at Labour. A Labour that is supposed to be a formidable, they have a problem. The problem Labour had was the little money that came. Everywhere got scattered. They say it's Aisha that carried it. Aisha said it's Okonkwo. Okonkwo says it's not him. So, yeah. The chairman of the party does not even help matters. It's another thing entirely. So now they are talking about the other party. The other they are talking about, they have gone to adopt an acronym of an already existing party. And INEC has spotted that out. Because there's an advanced democratic something. Yes. Which is there. So that one may not even go. But you see, the coalition that would have favored Obi is a coalition that has to do with existing parties coming together, not forming a third one, a new one. Because the reason that Tinubu won that election, the last election, was because Atiku and Obi shared the vote.
Yes. True.
So if you are now going to get, instead of the two to come together, if you are going to get a third one, when that third one comes, because it has big names, and those big names have followers, Erufai and the rest of that, when they come, they will now make it 3 political parties that will share the vote. And then it will be
Tinubu the opportunity.
Yeah, it will be more difficult. So that coalition is going to strengthen Tinubu. Because what they are supposed to do is to have coalition with the existing people, not to make this. And where would they have the time in the next 2 years to constitute that party, to do the drive, to get all they need to go to the polls and get victory? So,
a very sad one.
I don't think things are going right.
We hope that things will get better. Nigerians want options. We wouldn't want to see a situation where we are left with just one party, and therefore Nigerians would have no choice but to go with what they see. We just hope that things would get better, and we have less than 2 years to get our acts together. We hope that is the case. When we return, replacement for APC chairman hits up as North Central throws its weight for the seat. That in a bit is still Enterprise Morning. Please don't go anywhere.